Okay, welcome on my behalf. So my name is Jari Pasanen, I'm one of the Nestelma partners. And the theme for the panel discussion here is how we are going to bridge the gap between fintech startups and banks or financial institutions in overall. So we have 4 distinguished panelists here. So I'm not going to go myself deep in the introduction. I'll let them introduce themselves. But we have Terje on the left-hand side. Terje is coming from Feeling Stream. It's one of the startups working with us. Then we have Nilofer from Turkey, Arto from Nordea, and Harri from LähiTapiola. So they'll answer or they'll describe their role in a minute more in detail. We have few questions I'm going to go through, and then if time permits, I will also ask you to present the question for the panelists to answer. So during the presentation or discussion, please figure out a question that you might want to be answered during the presentation or panel. So let's get started. And first, why don't you just, Terje, start and tell a little bit about yourself and what is your role in your organization? Because I think you have a pretty interesting role as CFO, but F doesn't stand for something people typically understand.
Yeah. Is it open? Do I need to?
We have problem here with mic.
Is it open? No, I.
Okay. So the point was what is your role in the organization and how that actually relates to collaboration with fintech?
So my name is Terje Ennomäe, and I'm from Feeling Stream. And as Jari said, my position is interesting. I'm Chief Feeling Officer at Feeling Stream. But what does it mean? I'm delivering feelings, definitely. But I'm taking care of everything needed in this startup. So customer relationship. In case I need new office for my team, then I'm the only one who's taking care of this. I'm the only one who is hiring new employees for my team. So this is my position, Chief Feeling Officer. And my background is from banking sector. I have been in 15 years in banking to taking care of customer service. Had been in head of customer experience and head of contact center in 9 countries in Europe. So and this is my background.
Okay, Nilofer.
Yeah. So I'm coming from Turkey. Does it sound okay?
We still are having problems with the mic.
Sure. Okay. So I'm coming from Turkey, Turkish Economy Bank. I'm leading the Angel Investment Advisor Services Department and the business development side of wealth management of TEB. TEB Turkey is a mid-sized commercial bank, and it's a joint venture with BNP Paribas. And so my title might sound a little bit peculiar to you because maybe you have never heard of an angel investment advisor service under a wealth management department. This is actually unique because in Turkey we are the only accredited angel investment network as a bank. So my role linked to fintechs actually started with this story. So 3 years ago when we started spending some time in the ecosystem trying to scout out the smart investors who our vision back then was we need to find those people who might be interested in investing in smart technological projects. Then eventually, since we are industry experts, we developed a stronger arm in scouting out the fintechs, and then this naturally turned into a role of introducing them to the related parties at our bank. So this wasn't a planned route, this kind of like naturally happened, and now I'm also leading the FinTech Future 4 program. It's a incubation and acceleration within a bank, but it also involves some procurement commitment from the bank, and also it involves some investment aspect from the angel investment network that we are covering. So that's my role.
Okay, good. Arto, what
Yes,
about your
thank
role
you.
and how that relates to fintech collaboration?
Yes, thank you. My name is Arto and I come from Nordea. I have had a privilege last 2 years to run our Nordea Accelerator program. but I have been hands-on working with the third parties, actually like Feelingstream, to find new innovative services for our customers. And I think that also describes my role more broadly. I'm all about finding interesting third-party startups, growth companies that could actually truly help our customers and bring new value-added services. And of course, this is part of a bigger transformation agenda that we have in the banking industry, and where we want to ensure that Nordea is also a relevant player in the future and a leading bank.
Good. Harri.
Okay, thank you. My name is Harri Lauslahti, and currently I'm sort of generalist, managing director of the service company, but I have a banking background. I have been in banking for 25 years, and one part was building a new challenge bank in Finland between 2002 and 2011. Now it's merged with S-Bank, which is also a new type of challenge bank, and I'm in the board of that bank. About this cooperation with fintechs and this is my hobby in my current job, and I'm watching out very properly what happens on the market, both in banking and insurance, and medtech and health, and so we are, as a big investor in insurance company, seeking new partners and new opportunities how we can be a partner in the market.
Right. Okay. Looks like we have a pretty good diverse set of different kind of players here on stage right now. So then I would like you to elaborate a little bit on when you've been working with collaborating with different kind of partners. What kind of differences you see when you're working with let's say incumbents or corporations versus what happens when you're working with startups? What are main differences that you have been encountering?
Shall I answer?
What's Nilofer?
Oh, you go first.
Yeah. Startups are usually quite small, and starting point is quite different. And in my team, I had all the business side experiences before what is happening in banking, because I have been there by myself. And we teamed up almost 2 years ago, and then we realized that we should focus on one thing. And I think this is the first difference, is that our focus is really, we are focusing in one thing, and we are good at this. And I think that in a banking, they are also focusing in cards and payments and loans and every kind of product. But it takes time, because they are bigger than startups, and this can be a different. So our the balance sheet is quite small comparing the bank's balance sheet or the number of employees. And I don't have departments in my team, so I'm the department by myself, and that's it. But in banking, I feel that there are quite many different departments that taking care of customer, but from the customer point of view, the journey is different. So I'm taking cards and loans, and in one product I can get this kind of notice or kind of campaigns or notifications, but from loan department I will get different ones. Yeah. So this is the difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Nilofer?
From the bank's perspective, the major difference is in the process management, because when banks deal with third counterparties, which are not startups, so it's I said it's the biggest difference is in the process management. So when banks deal with counterparties, professional counterparties, there is always a set of defined rules where two parties know what to do and how to act, right? But when dealing with a startup, it's ambiguous for the bank. So, but then again, dealing with a normal counterparty, you never expect something above what is planned. But when you're dealing with a startup, there's always something more different than what you're expecting in a positive way. So that is the major difference, I guess.
Yeah, I fully agree what you are saying, and maybe I would add a dimension that the perception of time is totally different in a large organization, in a startup, because as you said, we have a process and a responsible unit for everything, and there's a purpose for that. There has been a purpose for that. I don't know if that's still what tomorrow should be about it, but there's the person point of time is creating difficulties. For us, 1 month, 2 months, that's fast. For you, it might not be that way. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I see the startups as speedboats. They can make the changes, whereas the capability to penetrate the large market is sort of narrow, and that's the point where the cooperation starts. And I think that's also the pain point in the process, that big company and a small company at the same time, how they can cooperate on the level playing field. So that's a challenge.
You were already going to the next question I was about to ask, and that is, what is the one thing that you would mention that needs to change going forward? And I think you were addressing this, but do you know how to do it?
Well, there are always good starts and trials, but I don't think that one trick fits all, because it's all about human relations mostly, and also, like Arto said, that in big corporations, when they take use some kind of new product or operation, it requires sort of bureaucracy also. And so that might be quite challenging for the startup persons to understand that when the cooperation starts, it's not that smooth any longer.
Yeah. I would like to, Arto, you to address this also a little bit, because you have been, for instance, running this kind of startup acceleration programs. What have you learned in this respect? What is the one thing that you think needs to change going forward between the collaboration between startups and
this is a bit of a dull answer, but I think our adaptability, we need to be much more agile in order to respond. I think it has been a good way that we have tried these processes with the startups, and we have kind of found these roadblocks. And now we just need to kind of tweak our organization and processes accordingly, and still maintain this kind of robust compliance and those rigid things we need to apply to. But I think we can go a long way, kind of enabling better cooperation in the future.
Yeah. Nilufer, you were also having this one interesting kind of way of working. You are working closely with angels, for instance, angel investors. So anything you can draw from there, in addition to what has been said already here concerning what needs to change in this collaboration, because everyone knows that they need to work closely together.
So what needs to change in the context of the collaboration between the banks and the startups? Your question,
for instance,
right? Okay. So from the bank's perspective, I think banks need to be more holistic, because as my colleague put it out, there are many departments in the bank dealing with this innovation agenda, innovation issues, but they don't know what they're doing at the moment. Especially, for example, I know we are the joint venture with BNP Paribas. As you know, BNP Paribas is a very big bank, and now they are doing many things, partnering with acceleration programs and doing some stuff internally as well. They are doing some stuff with the dedicated teams to produce some digital products. There is a huge effort going on, but at one point they should be, at least evolve into a one value proposition. In that sense, I think collaboration with startups should be governed from the board level more seriously than less distracted as it is now.
Right. Yeah. Terry, you've been kind of experiencing this pain yourself on the other side of the fence. So if you need to kind of take one point that you would love to see to change, what would it be?
It would be that the banks would also be able to open the new services for the customer as fast as possible. And I mean that don't polish it, just open it for the customers, as we did. We had really ugly user interface for our application, but we showed it to Nordea and Telia, and they said that yes, we would like to use the functionality. The user interface is not so important for our application. So it means that we did minimum, and they already loved it. So why not? Banks are not can use also the similar way that let's make a new service, let's put it in live, and then if there will be a customers, and then let's think how they can make a premature termination later. Today we want onboard customers, but how to cancel contract? Let's think later.
Yeah.
But let's onboard customers.
So more courageous way of going
Yes.
forward, piloting, testing.
Yes, you also asking customers to build together this service or product.
Yeah. So let's go back. Harry, would you like
I
to?
can comment on Terje's
Yeah.
saying that I can old story from the start, 2002, 2003, when we started our new bank, we co-built it with customers, and it was very efficient. So they got what they wanted,
Sure.
and it was smooth way.
Yeah.
And I agree that when you are on the building phase, it's easier, but when you are very organized,
Established, you have all these processes and culture and so
but
forth.
still you have the point.
Thanks.
So, but you are now becoming a bank, a big bank. We have big banks also in the panel here. So, if there's one kind of advice you would give to the startups, what they have to change, or how they should approach you when they would engage with you as a bank, what it would be?
Well, good pitch.
Yeah. Well, I would say that come with the customer focus, so to kind of explain to us or the bank, so it's a large corporation, how this benefits your customers, your current customers, also, but also the potential customers. Then I think it's important that you find some person or unit from executive level who falls in love with your idea and your company, because you need this kind of internal sponsor in order to things fly. So I think that what you said about anchoring in the highest management, that is absolutely needed.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
Yeah. Nilofer, what would be your advice?
Yeah, I exactly agree. Finding the right person or the right department in the bank for the startup is very important, because otherwise then the startup might end up losing too much time with the wrong person. And in the beginning they have really limited resources and limited time, so they should be in the right department, so that when it comes to pivoting their business model or doing something different than the previous models, then they should be able to do it, and they should be flexible in that.
Right. Okay. By the way, are there any questions from the audience? Anything you would like the panelists to answer? No? Okay. I have one more question now, because we have heard already several times today, this morning, that this branch is going through some enormous changes, and there will be a lot of disruptions happening, whether it's about business or whether it's about technology base or whatever. So if you would like to make your bets on one thing that is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years time frame, what it would be? What is the biggest change that's going to happen in this business in 3 to 5 years time? Who would like to start?
I can also start, and I would bet on data analytics.
Data analysis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all.
I think the future of banking is beyond banking. I mean, at one point in the future, banks will have to serve their clients like we all use the term seamless, digital, and proactive. So that is why big data is very important, because banks will find themselves trying to not to understand, but predict the need of the client. So this prediction part is very important. I like the phrase called the cognitive bank, and I didn't invent it. It's someone who calls himself a fintech thought leader. Recently many people call themselves like that because of the big hype. But I really agree on that term. The cognitive bank is very important. So the banks who really succeed in this holistic approach and transforming into delivering their services under one platform, not through millions of apps, but one platform, then I think those banks will survive. Those are the thriver banks, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's not about fintechs. It's about the lives people live and how we can meet to that demand. And if you want to bet, maybe, I don't know, maybe this sharing economy actually picks up and creates a platform for totally new kind of services.
Okay. Harri, you have the last chance to
That's
kind of...
great. I think what is bank in 5 years? It's a big question because it's all about customer needs. How to you make the daily savings and payments, how to get loan and how to invest. There might be some other operators who are better than banks in few years' time with PSD2 and so on.
Yeah, this convergence, what's happening right now is quite remarkable, and we see all these players coming from different branches entering the space. So definitely that is going to be a good question and interesting to follow. So anything else from the audience? If not, then let's give a big hand to our panelists. Okay. Okay, and I'll hand over to Antti.
Thank you, Jari. Thank you, panelists.
Thank you all.